Part of being an adult is learning to delay gratification. You know, when you're a child, you want stuff now. Give it to me now. I want to go out and play now. And when you're adult, some of us don't grow up. We don't ever get to the point to where we can delay gratification. But this is one of those things where I'm really just beginning to wonder, is this another opportunity for us to, hey, what's going on, guys? So I'm in a dilemma. We are in the process of selling our home, so it's still on the market. It's been on the market for a couple months. We thought we had the home picked out. The primary requirement for the home, of course, I want a dedicated theater room like this. So this room's 13 foot wide, 19 foot deep, 10 foot ceilings. I don't have to have a big, massive dedicated theater room, but I do want a place that I can come to watch movies with my family and my friends, and of course, make content for you guys. The other day, I'm driving home from Lady Lake, Florida. So I travel about 2 hours currently from here to Lady Lake every Friday. I film a podcast called the Dialed In Podcast with Matt Mormon for the Obsessed Garage channel. And we finished up filming there. I'm heading home and I look over to my left and I see this new subdivision that is being built, or this new community. And so I pull in and I end up driving down the road, and I thought it was a new development that my wife had told me about. So I pull in, I go inside and I introduce myself, share with the real estate agent kind of what we're doing. We're in the process of selling this home. We want to move to either maybe Middleton or Lady Lake, Florida, and build a home that has a dedicated theater room. So there was only really one home that would fit that category. And so she takes me to do a tour of the house. It's really a nice home. It's actually a little bit smaller than the one, probably a lot smaller than the one that we were looking at. The new home that we were looking at, I think, is like 4,000 square feet. So it was going to be quite a bit more expensive. That one's down in Middleton, Florida. So this one is in Lady Lake. So I go in, check out the home. It's a really nice home. And the more I started thinking about it, Jessica and I are at a point in our life where our kids are growing up. Several of them have already moved out. My son, Jacob, he is married, has a son, has a wife. My daughter, Rachel, is engaged. She'll be married in December. She's already moved out into a home on her own. And so now we just have two girls at home. They're both in nursing school. They only have about a year left, maybe a year and a half for our youngest. And so maybe at this point we're starting to, maybe we need to downsize. So I don't know. So I'm looking at this home, and again, I'm just looking at it going, man, this is a beautiful home. I could easily see myself living here. This would be more than enough for me and Jessica. But I'm curious to see what the theater room area looks like. And so we go upstairs, and the first thing you notice is there's a banister on the right. Not a big deal. My thought is, I'll just have to, after construction, we'll need to put a wall there, put a door there, so it would seal up that room. The last thing I want is all of the bass and sound escaping down the stairway into the living room and everything. It's much harder also to pressurize a room when you can't contain the sound in that respect, and plus you don't want that noise to bleed as much as possible into the rest of the home. So the room isn't super big. It appeared just off first glance definitely smaller than this room. The ceilings are quite a bit lower. This is 10-foot ceilings. That was probably around 8 foot, maybe 8.5 foot. In the back of the room, there's like this slope or like a slant. So my thought was that would be where the rear seats would be. So right up here, you would have that slant. So that might not be a big deal because I would mount the rear surrounds on the wall, not on that slant. So, okay, I can deal with that. Then I ask her if she has a tape measure. So she gets the tape measure out, and the room measures, I'll show a picture right here. So if I say it wrong, but I think it was around 11 feet. The issue with that is this room, like I said, this is 13 foot. So I definitely wouldn't be able to put there wouldn't be any area walkway. The good thing is in this room, I have to have the walkway, space beside the seats because of this door right back here. That's the main entrance. In the new theater room, in this home that we're looking at here, the door would basically be over here in the front left. And so I would have the screen up here on the front, the main door here, I'd have to wall off this side here, and then I would have either one, but possibly 2 rows of seating. So it would bring my height speakers down considerably, a couple feet. How that's going to impact the sound, don't know, but I think it can be done well. I've been in home theaters that even have JTR speakers with a lower ceiling, and it sounded amazing. So I'm confident I can make it work. Just again, you got to just look at the angles, make sure that those are right. But the biggest struggle I have with it is over on the far right. So when you first come up to the top of the stairs and you round the corner, if you look to the right, you'll see like this little notch. Basically, that's where the air unit is, or like the return is for the room. So that really can't be moved without probably some major, reconstruction of that home after the home is finished. You're not going to be able to do that during construction. So that definitely will require quite a bit more time and money and effort involved into doing that to make the room wider. If the room was as wide as the banister, and put a wall right there, I think that would be totally doable. But again, it may not be a big deal because of the rear seats being further back, and I don't need to get behind them. But I'm just wondering, with that little knockout, even if I put a wall over there, is it, how are the people in the back going to hear the side surround? So again, I think I would just have to draw it out physically on paper to see how that would look. So really the point of this video is we're kind of stuck in a couple things. While we're waiting to sell this house, we at least want to do some due diligence to figure out like what are our options out there. So one option is to buy the home that we originally were looking at in Middleton. The issue with that home is it costs twice as much money as this home that I just showed you in Lady Lake. So either we can buy a big home with pretty much the same dimensions as this room, slightly deeper. So instead of 19 feet, I think that room's 21 feet. The ceiling is a little bit shorter. Again, not a big deal. One benefit of that room is there's a little knockout, kind of like I call it like a little cove. So there's a window there and a little cutout of the room. But my thought was to enclose that room and then make a door there, and then that would be a server room. So I could put all my equipment in there on a rack. Makes it really easy to get access to. With this smaller house and the smaller theater room, I have to figure out where in the world am I going to put this rack? Where am I going to put the equipment? So I believe the smaller home is definitely going to create a lot more challenges. But my wife's always told me in everything in life, Michael, something is better than nothing, and I totally agree. I'd rather have a small theater room than no theater room at all. So, but it comes down to, what do we really want? What's going to meet our needs? Is this our dream home? Either one of these? I don't believe so. They're both nice homes, but it's not like everything I've ever dreamed of. Like I would love to one day have a beautiful home that my wife can have a swimming pool and she can go out there and swim every single day. And she probably would. I wouldn't, but she would. And I know she's always longed for that. She always wanted a swimming pool in our home. But I would love to, just build something based on everything that we have enjoyed about our current home and our next home and the things that we've learned from those, put that into building maybe a custom home down the road. But we're not there yet, even financially. We're not there to build our dream home. That's going to be a few years down the road. The question I have to wrestle with is, do we buy an expensive home knowing it's not our dream home, and living in that, 2, 3, 4 years, something like that, selling that, and then buying our dream home? Or do we sacrifice for a few years, buy a smaller home, buy a theater room, have a home that has a theater room that isn't everything I dreamed of, because I know that in 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, we should be at a point financially that we can build our dream home, and then I can put everything I want in it. So that's the challenge. Part of being an adult is learning to delay gratification. When you're a child, you want stuff now. Give it to me now. I want to go out and play now. And when you're adult, some of us don't grow up. We don't ever get to the point to where we can delay gratification. But this is one of those things where I'm really just beginning to wonder, is this another opportunity for us to hit pause, slow down, not get into so much house, the monthly payments will be lower. We could finance it for, we could even finance it for less. So instead of a 30-year, we could do a 15-year on a lesser home. But man, decisions. So I'm excited about the future, but man, I'm not a super decisive person when it comes to things like this. Now, it doesn't take a lot for me to be content. Looking at this theater room, I have absolutely loved my time here. It's going to be hard leaving our home, eventually when we sell this and move to another place. But I've been very content with this room. We have received a lot of joy, a lot of family time. Me and Jessica watching movies, us and the kids watching movies, having friends over watching movies. And so this room has provided a lot of joy for our family. And I know the next place will, whether it's a bigger room, smaller room, less than ideal room, we're still going to enjoy it because it's more about what it represents, and that's family and community versus the gear that's in it, if that makes sense. But it still doesn't make the decision any easier. And so I'll show you again, just here was the one home here that we were looking at in Middleton. This home, again, is about twice the cost of the home in Lady Lake. And so this room is pretty big. It's about the same size as this room, has the little knockout. Definitely some challenges there, like where would I put the rear surrounds? That's going to be challenging. And then the one in Middleton, and then the one in Lady Lake, the house is smaller, the theater room is smaller. Again, there's some challenges there with that banister and the room kind of having that little knockout in the back right corner of the room. Where do I put the equipment rack or even the equipment in the room? So definitely got some things to think through, but I'm super optimistic. I'm not stressing over it, but these are some things that we have to kind of think through and begin to figure out even ahead of time, so that when we do have that offer on our home and we do sell the home and we do have a closing date, we at least have a better idea. We're not having to figure those things out at that particular moment in time. So I'd love to get your thoughts on it. This is only the first home that we've ever bought and sold. So this is our first home. We bought this 18 years ago. And so this whole process of selling a home and then moving to a new home, that's new for us. We've lived in multiple homes over the years, but they were always rental properties. Sometimes the church, when I was a youth pastor, they would provide a property, provide a home for us. And so, but this will be the first time we've sold a home. So, there's a lot of unknowns there for me. But I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Which way would you go? Would you go with the smaller home, save the money, make the best of that space like I've always encouraged you to do, be patient, wait a few years and then build our dream home? Or do we buy a nicer home, bigger home that we really don't necessarily need the extra bedrooms? It has a bigger office. It'd have a dedicated room that Jessica could have a workout room. Definitely some perks there. But I don't know, so many things to think through and make a decision. But I just told you through this whole process, I want to bring you guys along for the journey of selling our home, dismantling this theater room, installing the new theater room, the decisions that we make along the way. And we're going to share with you the things that we did right and the things that we don't do so right. I'm not scared to do that, both in my personal life, but also with Obsessed Home Theater as we continue to build that out. I'm super pumped about the design center we're building in Middleton, Florida. That's another plus. If we were to buy the home in Middleton, we're right close to that. If we buy the home in Lady Lake, we'll be close to Obsessed Garage headquarters. But I think most of my time will be spent down in Middleton at the design center. So anyway, just a lot of things to think about. But I hope you guys are having an incredible day. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. I'd love to hear those. Hope you guys have an incredible week. God bless. I'll catch you in the next video. Ooh. Ow, cracked my tailbone.